And from the economic crisis in Pakistan, let's shift our focus to Sri Lanka, which is wrestling with a crisis of its own making. Reeling under the worst financial crisis in more than 7 decades, the country is now seeking to secure around $5 billion in funding this year. The financing will cover repayments for fuel imports and other items bought through credit lines in the wake of a severe foreign exchange shortage. Colombo will also need another $1 billion to bolster its foreign reserves. In April, Sri Lanka's foreign exchange reserves stood at $1.81 billion. The crunch has left it struggling to pay for essential imports, including food, fuel, fertilizers and medicines. Prime Minister Ranil Wickremesinghe has raised taxes to shore up government revenue. He also plans to cut expenditure sharply in an interim budget which will be presented within weeks. As part of its rescue plan, Sri Lanka is also negotiating a bailout package with the International Monetary Fund. If agreed upon, the package would enable at least a $3 billion borrowing through the IMF's Extended Fund facility. The Prime Minister is hopeful that negotiations would conclude by the end of the month. The Sri Lankan government expects another round of technical talks with the IMF this month. We must note that the country is seeking new funding even as it has defaulted on its mammoth $51 billion external debt this year. So far, Sri Lanka has received 2 credit lines from India. The credit facilities worth $1.5 billion were used for fuel and essential commodities. The 2 neighbours are also in talks now for another $500 million of a credit line to fund fuel imports. Sri Lanka is also asking other countries for help, including Japan. Due to the foreign exchange crisis, the country is facing acute shortages of food, fuel and medicines. And in order to discourage imports and preserve the foreign currency reserves, the cash-strapped island nation has already raised tariffs on a wide range of goods and services. Luxury items like wine and cheese are key targets. Duty on chocolates has been raised by 200%. Additional levies have also been applied to imported fruit, while duties on all alcoholic drinks and on electronic appliances have been doubled. And for more details about the people of Sri Lanka and what they are saying, our correspondent Dasunia Thora has sent us this report from Colombo. Take a look.
With talks with the International Monetary Fund still in its initial stages, all eyes will be on what transpires in Parliament in the coming week, especially with Prime Minister Ranil Wickremesinghe expected to put forth a new interim budget for the Sri Lankan economy as it tries its best to overcome a worsening financial crisis. That's not all. All eyes will also be on the discussions that are to take place regarding the much-awaited 21st Amendment to the Sri Lankan Constitution, of which chief being the abolishment of the executive presidency. Stay with WION World is One as we bring you the very latest. Reporting from Colombo, I'm Dasunia Thora.
WION World is One is now available in your country. Download the app now and get all the news updates on the move.